Good morning, America. This is Professor Clifford Sanders, and I wanted to come to you today because America now is under siege. By now you know that Scott Brown has won Senator Kennedy's seat in Massachusetts. Now, most people have been up in arms about this, but I call this a teachable moment. A teachable moment is a reflection that individuals partake in to find out exactly how to proceed politically, in this case politically. Now, before I continue, I'd like to call on all of the friends out there who are friends of justice, who are friends of getting the truth out in the forefront, and friends of America as a whole. When President Barack Obama was inaugurated, everyone was elated. Everyone cheered. It didn't matter what color you were happy about the victory that he had won. I'm still happy about the victory that he had won. But there are certain things that have taken place and transpired up to this point that I'm disappointed about. One of those things is a carefully orchestrated plan by the Republican Party to continue to resist our president in pushing forth the will of the people. If you remember, during his debates, President Obama, then Senator Obama, asked a profound question. The question he asked was, why can't all of Americans receive the same type of health care that their taxpayer dollars are paying for? That was a very profound question because as I look at it, it makes sense. Every one of our senators, every one of our congressmen, the president, and people who work for them receive health care coverage, the best in America, and it's paid for by tax dollars. But for some reason, people of the Republican Party do not want normal Americans like you and I to partake in the same type of health care coverage, even though our tax dollars are paying for it. That makes no sense to me. However, what you have witnessed over the last 6 months is a culmination of the victory in Massachusetts. Let me explain. You had corporations from the healthcare industry who paid their employees overtime and bused them to town hall meetings to do nothing but keep up a ruckus and continue to distort the message of healthcare. In return, the American people perceived that as America being angry over the healthcare proposition. Now, the public option was on the table. The public option is very simple. You're giving America a choice in what healthcare company they will go with. That's important because what we have been experiencing is healthcare companies raising their prices every year, even though Americans don't have any work, dropping Americans from healthcare coverage, and not caring about Americans at all. And that needs to change. Our president is fighting very hard to get that to change. Now, what I would like for you to do is when you see this video, I'd like for you to move it forward across cyberspace because we need to get this out front. Because the Republicans' agenda is this: I'm going to continue to oppose the president in trying to push the will of the people forward. And then I'm going to blame him during the midterm elections in order to get my power back in the Senate and the House. And then I'm going to continue to do what we've been doing. What have they been doing? Well, number one, just for an example, the Centers for Disease Control had a very large budget until Bush and the Republicans cut it back significantly. Because they cut it back significantly, they were unable to conduct research and development and discover the swine flu before it became an epidemic. We would have been able to do that had we had the money to do it, but the Republicans cut the money back from the budget with Bush's signature. That's just an example. Yes, the swine flu could have been averted, but due to the Republicans, it was not averted. And hundreds of Americans have died. This is the type of shenanigans that continues to go on the floor of the Senate and in the House. And they continue to move forward without accepting any responsibility for where we are right now. That is one of the things that burn me up, because I was raised that if you are a man of character or a man of integrity, that you accept responsibility for where we are, however good or however bad it is. Also, if you need to understand more about what's going on in our nation, please pick up this book, barnesandnobles.com. It's entitled We the People, Forming a More Perfect Union. It explains to you how we got in this mess, this black hole in the first place, and how a man had the character and integrity and love enough for his country to forego the golden parachutes of Wall Street, because he's a very brilliant man, and he decided to go into public service and become our president. Graduated from the top of his class from Harvard Law, and decided that I love America so much until I cannot allow them to continue on the path that they're on. So I'm going to run for president. Ever since he announced his candidacy, he's been under siege and being attacked. I'm tired of the attacks. It's time for us to support him in his agenda for the people, because this agenda that he's pushing is for the people. You may hear that he's favoring Wall Street. When he walked in the door, let me explain this to you. The TARP bill was signed by President Bush before he left. President Obama was only doing what he was told to do by our last president. You know, President Obama, I signed this TARP bill to give money to Wall Street, and I need for you to go ahead and do it because I'm not going to be here as president. That's exactly what happened. This has nothing to do with our president. So stop putting it at his feet. If you're a coward, you're going to take the easiest way out. And that easiest way out is never to accept responsibility for your actions and always blame the other person. This is what you're witnessing on the floor of the Senate with the GOP, with the Republican Party. And by the way, Republicans are all over the place. They're not just in the Republican Party. They're in the Democratic Party and they're in the Independent Party. So whenever you hear the term blue dog, you know that's a Republican that's posing as a Democrat. That was carefully orchestrated because, number one, Rush Limbaugh told you the wish of the Republican Party when the president was inaugurated. They hope that he fails, and they're doing everything in their power to make sure that he fails. We cannot let that happen, because if the president fails, America fails. Again, I say we're under siege, and Massachusetts fell in love with a stripper. So much for family values, huh, Republican Party? So far you have adulterers, you have strippers, you have pedophiles in your party, but you continue to move forward with business as usual and ignore that reality. If we are to move forward as a country, we're going to have to put the race issue to bed, and we're going to have to work together as one nation. I talk about that in my book, We the People, Forming a More Perfect Union. I'll sign off now, but I'll be back. This is Professor Clifford Sanders saying, have a good day.